Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on live through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming again today, you're very, very welcome. I've been enjoying this mini-series on Jim Henson. In the first video, we looked at his early career. And then in the second video, we looked at the iconic Sesame Street. And then in the last video, we looked at the equally brilliant Muppet Show. So the Muppet Show finished at around 1981. So we're talking late 70s. And Jim Henson was 41 at this point. Well and truly not finished with what he was doing. He was so young to have such two iconic shows under his belt at that age. We thought, well, you know what? In 1979, just before the Muppets finished, he started doing movies. And the first movie was the Muppet movie. This is all about the beginning of the Muppets, the gang getting together, Kermit doing what he does so well, just bringing people together. This particular movie box office at $65 million. So very, very successful movie for just a show about puppets. But you know, this really did catapult Jim Henson even into more superstardom at that point. Got a bit of a film clip below. You notice there's a few other cameo performances in here as you go through. There was no shortage of stars lining up to become part of the Muppets. So the Muppet Show finished, and out came the great Muppet Caper, 1981. We've got a bit of a film version of a clip from that movie. Now, around that time, around late 1970s, Star Wars became absolutely huge, and then even probably a bigger movie, Empire Strikes Back. At this point, George Lucas had complete control over the franchise. And he really did want to make his mark with this movie. There was a lot riding on this movie. And so he put out all the stops to create some of the best talent. Hollywood goodbye. Now, Yoda, as we know, one of the significant characters, the mentor for Luke Skywalker, introducing him to the Force. Well, Yoda was a puppet. And they approached Jim Henson to actually create Yoda. And he contacted his mate Frank Oz to actually puppet Yoda. So very, very impressive character. Oz, you know, if you're a Star Wars fan, you know how important Yoda is in the world. Jim Henson was so impressed with Frank Oz's performance that he actually did try to get him nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. That's how significant the Yoda character was. In 1984, the Muppets take Manhattan. So the Muppet movies kept coming out, and here we got Kermit the Frog walking into a restaurant like he owns the joint. Really, really clever. And this particular movie got $25.5 million at the box office. Before the Muppets Take Manhattan, it was starting to dabble into some other movies. In 1982, we had The Dark Crystal. Now here we've got less whimsy, less fun, a little bit more of a darker side. The classic good versus evil story here. And there's something just really quite realistic about the puppets in this particular movie. Jim Henson really knew what he was doing at this point. He knew what puppets were capable of. And we've got some really lifelike stuff coming here. So we've got a film clip of that below. I think it's a bit of a challenge of leadership in that particular clip. So nothing like showing off the talent of Jim Henson. 1983, Fraggle Rock, being dubbed by critics as just a lot of silliness but brilliance at the same time. This particular series went for 5 seasons, 96 episodes, so nearly up there with the Muppet Show, who had 120 episodes. So Fraggle Rock was another significantly successful show for Jim Henson. Here we've got the lead character played by Jerry Parks interacting with the dog. Just watch the dog here. The reason I've chosen this clip is to just realise how clever this is. The dog is a puppet. Just get your head around that. as you watch that particular clip, because it's really, really, really clever. So we got Fraggle Rock, 1983. Now, when David Bowie left this world, he was part of the movie in 1986, Labyrinth, which is a story about him abducting a baby because there was something significant at the baby. And of course, he was surrounded by puppets. He was the Goblin King. And when David Bowie passed from this world, this particular, I suppose, movie has been referred to quite a bit because David Bowie was just the perfect cast for the Goblin King. So we've got a bit of a clip from the movie here of him singing with all of his friends. Now just remember again, all of these characters are puppets. This is how clever Jim Henson actually was. But it did not stop there. So we had Sesame Street, we had The Muppet Show, we had Fraggle Rock, we had a number of Muppet movies, we had Labyrinth, we had the Dark Crystal. In 1988, out came The Storyteller. This was another bit of a series based on European folk tales. This particular series got an Emmy for Outstanding Children Entertainment. Here we've got a bit of a clip here with John Hurt as the lead role in that. In 1989, we're still going. Jim Henson had the Jim Henson Hour, 12 episodes of that particular show. Jim Henson just really wanted to go into a little bit more adult at this point. This is a really, really good clip, this one, because this is actually a little bit of a clip / behind the scenes about how much fun the people who actually do the puppets actually have. And so we've got a TV clip from the Jim Henson Hour. But in 1990, at the age of 53, Jim Henson died of toxic shock syndrome. Gee, a horrible way to die, absolutely. Very, very big, massive shock to the world, that one, to see someone who had brought so much joy, literal joy and laughter to the world, to die at 53 was almost it was a tragedy in many, many ways. Jim Henson did appear on the Arsenio Hall, and we've got that particular clip below. This is his last ever TV performance, and of course Kermit the Frog is there as well. Both Jim Henson and Kermit the Frog have been inducted or have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Not so many have that. Mike Myers and Shrek have that. So not many people have both the character and the creator on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Fordham University gave him an honorary doctorate. He's been inducted into the Television Hall of Fame, and American Academy of Achievement have given him a significant award as well. Disney Legend have also made him a Disney Legend. It was around the time that his death, he was negotiating his company to be bought by Disney. Wasn't the nicest and easiest of negotiations, but he got there in the end, because, you know, when you're so wound up with your characters, when your characters are actually you, pretty much, very, very hard to negotiate such a thing. But Disney are keeping the Muppet, I suppose, legacy alive. In 2019, Jim Henson posthumously was acknowledged by the Kennedy Center. Well, it was actually Sesame Street that was acknowledged by the Kennedy Center. Of course, Jim Henson had a lot to do with Sesame Street. And here we've got Big Bird, very tongue-in-cheek, looking for a seat, and looking for thanks. Is thanks around? And Tom Hanks very, very kindly just sort of goes along with it. So we've got a very, very cheeky Big Bird in the Kennedy Center in 2019. Between 1965 and 1991, there were 9 movies, and there were 37, I think I could count, TV shows / series. So Jim Henson has got a lot of content, absolutely. So it's great to be able to acknowledge this legend over 3 videos. And just to finish things off, we thought we'd better get a Muppets tribute to Jim Henson. And here we've got a bit of in the indelible style going behind the scenes of the Muppet Show to that room where Kermit often was. How are we going to pay tribute to this guy? And they started reading out some of the fan letters. Oh, it was so funny. You made me feel good. You made me feel warm. You made me feel welcome. As you watch it, it's a bit poignant. It really, really is. And it's nice to see in this final sort of quite nice song, Big Bird and Bert. Of course, they weren't part of the Muppet Show, but they were part of Sesame Street. Good to see them coming back, just rounding out the two iconic Jim Henson shows. An absolutely beautiful video clip of that one. So Jim Henson, genius, clever, joy, laughter, mayhem, mania, TV, movies, talk shows, numbers of series. So you're not just doing one show, you're doing a series of shows. Guest stars just wanted to get on his show, because if you got on the Muppet Show, or in Sesame Street for that matter, you know you'd made it. And so this channel just had to bring tribute to Jim Henson over the last 3 videos. Actually 4 videos. But the story's not quite over. And given that you know, Kermit the Frog, Kermit and Jim are inseparable, it's nice to see that he has been able to carry on. But we've got to give Kermit the Frog a video all of his own, because you know what? It's not easy being green. The Rainbow Connection, the death of Jim Henson is very, very poignant as well. We've got to give Kermit his own go, and so that's where we're heading next time. So the links to those 12 clips in the description below, and I've also included my last video on the Muppet Show part of Jim Henson's story. You can go back to Sesame Street, and you can go back to his pre-Sesame Street days if you want to look at his whole series. So thanks for hanging around today. So we'll finish off with Kermit the Frog next time. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.